This program brought to you by Inglis, the 2021 Inglis Yearling Sales Series. Entries open now.
Vecchio charges to the lead.
Hello, I'm Caroline CSE. Welcome to Bred to Win, coming to you from the magnificent Darley Stud in the Hunter Valley of New South Wales, where soon we'll profile their latest additions to their ranks of influential international stallions. Coming up this week, we profile one of the toughest and well-bred sprinters we've seen, the popular Equus Farm new stallion Pirata, joined by another son of Piero, Bellevue Hill. Matthew Samblam's Kingstar Farm with another great value breed to race stallion, the stunning son of Hinchinbrook, Unite and Conquer. Darley's broodmare manager John Sunderland with his favourite Inglis Sales story. And after his mate Gary Harley last week, this week it's Sky's Gavin Carmody with the horse who made him love racing. First though, the latest breeding news in the Cambridge Stud Bred to Win wrap. The Inglis 2020 Ready to Race catalogue is now online, with 226 two-year-olds entered for the sale at Riverside on Tuesday, October 20. The catalogue has been branded the strongest ever assembled in Australia, with all the leading sires and first-season stallions represented. Breeze-ups will be held around Australia and at Taupo in New Zealand, with final gallops at Warwick Farm on Friday, October 16, leading into the sale. Inglis has also announced Inglis Premier Yearling Sale graduate Guitra will fill the auction house's slot in the 2020 Tab Everest. The Lightning Stakes winning son of Lope de Vega was impressive in a gallop between races at Morfettville on Saturday and has travelled the last few days to reach Sydney. In a great boost to New Zealand's Cambridge Stud, Coolmore Stud have bought Wootton Bassett, sire of Cambridge stallion Almanzor. The champion European 3-year-old Almanzor has just arrived back at Cambridge, and his sire line's great outcross potential has been recognised by one of the world's most successful breeding operations.
He comes to the outside, North Pacific.
Saturday's racing featured some promising 3-year-olds, with North Pacific a strong winner of the up-and-coming stakes at Randwick. The son of Brazen Bow was an Inglis Melbourne Premier Yearling graduate sold by Beamer Thoroughbreds to Orbis Bloodstock for $800,000. At Caulfield Quezette Stakes winner Bella Nipotina was another successful Inglis Premier buy, sold by Michael Christian through Rosemont Studs Draft to Lindsay Park, Andy Williams and Mount Hallowell Stud for $80,000. In the Vane Stakes, Our Playboy was successful, with the son of Sebring sold by Widden Stud at the 2019 Magic Millions to trainer Mick Price for $210,000. His dam Mischief Knight resides at Matthew Samblam's Kingstar Farm, featuring later in the show. The Caulfield Group 2 PB Lawrence Stakes was a 5th stake success for Godolphin Street Cry mare Savatiano, making it a James Cummings Stakes double as Viridine won the listed Regal Roller Stakes.
The Spring Stakes is all over.
At Morfettville, the Group 3 Spring Stakes was won by All Too Hard gelding Behemoth. Runner-up Dallasan won the race last year before winning the Carbine Club Stakes at Flemington on Derby Day.
And it's Palace Piers going to be 5 from 5, a second Group 1.
And in France, the run of Invincible Spirits Kingman continued when his unbeaten son Palace Pier won Sunday's Prix Jacques Le Morat over the mile at Deauville. In coming weeks, we'll feature Kingman's new Coolmore Australia speed sire Calix on Bred to Win. Through the week, we saw some well-bred young horses record significant victories, including Makybe Diva's daughter by Brazen Bow, Sublime Diva at Sale. The half-brother to Pirata, who features next at Equus Farm, Jet Propulsion, a colt by Rubik, scored his first win at Newcastle on Thursday. While also on the Newcastle program, the son of Deep Impact and the champion Miss Finland, Bucharest, won his first start. Named after the birthplace of Arrowfield's late friend and advisor Nick Collum, Bucharest has grown from a beautiful, confident foal to a first start winner. Arrowfield Stud allowed Bred To Win a sneak peek of its stunning new statue, honouring the fourth straight Australian sire's title of the mighty Snitzel. The lifelike statue features Snitzel's regular handler Joe and will be unveiled officially in coming weeks. Finally, we caught up with Arrowfield principal John Messara to find out how things were looking for the next Yearling Sales series after a COVID-interrupted 2020.
Well, we're exhausted and we're about starting about next year now. Yeah, it was a tough year, thanks to COVID particularly. Looking forward to next year, I think we need to make some decisions earlier than the sales company might think, because we at Arrowfield at least have 220 yearlings for sale next year, and it's a real logistical issue. So if we don't have some notice as to how they're going to be sold and where they're going to be sold, it's a terrible issue for us in terms of boxes and staff, etc. So we're going to start asking the sales companies what their plans are way ahead of the sales themselves, because COVID's likely to continue into next year quite easily. We need to be thinking now and to be planning now for plan B, and we need to make a decision whether we go with plan A or plan B rather earlier than we had to do last year.
And of course, earlier in the year, with the Easter sale in particular, I mean, you sold privately, which wasn't your ideal choice, obviously. It changed a lot of things for a lot of people.
We didn't have any option because, I don't know what everybody understands, but the sale was going to be an online sale that we were advised officially that's what was going to happen. And once that happened, with 60 yearlings in the sale, or 1 in 6 or something of the offering, it was going to be a massive mishmash to have horses online coming simultaneously where other horses of ours were still selling, etc. We thought it was impossible. We couldn't bet the farm on it, as it were. It's a risk we couldn't take, so we withdrew our horses and furiously went about selling them privately. And then, of course, there was a change of mind. They went to a virtual sale, and that is an option we might have joined in on, but by that stage we'd sold a lot of our prime lots. It would have looked like the leftovers, and we would have put us in a difficult competitive position. So it was not a happy time. There were difficult circumstances, a changing scene by the day, but I think that's the way we're going to have to live for a while now. And so this year we need to sort of have a very clear path forward to enable us to meet the logistical challenges of a farm that's got to sell 220 yearlings in the season. And I think if we work closely with the sales companies, I think we can get a good outcome.
It's not often we see stallions race on for preparation after preparation, gaining a huge following before retiring to stud. Group 1 winning sprinter Pirata is a rare exception, and he's joined for his first season at Aquis Farms New South Wales base by another son of Piero, the precocious Bellevue Hill.
Very, very exciting time for Aquis, and as everyone knows, we are a young operation. We've only been in existence since 2016, but to achieve so much with a young roster, and especially winning races like the Slipper with Farnan and the Magic Millions a couple of times, it goes a long way for the boss and the investment of the Fung family. It's a great testament to what they do for the business.
And the stallions, well, they're still in the same sort of region, Murrurundi-Blandford region at Lincoln Farm, but so brilliant to see Pirata. He was such a racetrack favourite. You know, this typical sort of horse, we don't see that often with the Entires, who raced on year after year.
Yeah, look, it's a very sturdy and a tough line of racehorses. You look at Sir Tristram, you look at Zabeel, you look at Londro, Octagonal, Piero himself. They were not one-trick ponies. They all raced on, and they raced multiple times and won multiple races. And Pirata is no different, and we are delighted to have him on stud, and he's very, very popular.
But Pirata's got a good leader.
He was precocious, and he trained on, and he won group races at 3, 4, 5, and just kept doing it. And it's a testament to Greg Hickman, who's managed the horse so well, and he's made sure that the horse keeps winning. And he was tough, he turned up, and he won on his day.
And here's a big win for Pirata in the Sydney Stakes.
He won the Sydney Stakes. Now, that was a huge day. Of course, it was Everest Day, and it would have been really interesting if he'd run in that Everest.
Oh, he would have made it really interesting, I feel, because, you know, those two races were run right after each other, and same distance, same track conditions on the same day. and he ran a significantly faster time than Snitzel did, winning the Everest. So maybe some of the slot holders may have regretted their decision of not having him over what they picked. So he definitely would have made it interesting. But he turned up and he won his race.
Parada and Nick in front.
Look, it's his career-defining win, of course, but he's more than just a Group 1 winner. He's raced on and he's won so many races along the way. But that's what Australian racing is all about. It's about the emotion. It's about ownership in a horse like that. It's about a trainer like Greg Hickman taking a big bunch of owners to the track and winning that ultimate Group 1. And that's what that horse was all about, and that's why people love this horse. He has a fabulous pedigree behind him, and if you look at him physically, he's a very strong horse, and I think he has that elegance of Piero, but he gets that strength and then bulk from Flying Spur, and it was a really good mating when it was done. And he was bred, you know, at Kitchwin Hills, and what a year they have had producing stallions. They have produced even Dubious with their brand that stands for us in Queensland. So kudos to Mick and his team for doing such a fabulous job with these horses. He's an older horse, so he's letting down really quickly once he's been with us, and we took him to Magic Million sale up there, and we had a stable next door and we kept him there for inspection, and people loved him because he's masculine, he's very easy on his feet the way he moves, but more importantly, he has an incredible temperament, and that's what really defines a good stallion, because you know people see that and people want that in the progeny they breed. So no, he's a very easy horse on the eye.
Bellevue Hill beats Strasbourg.
You have another son of Piero, Bellevue Hill. Now, this is your archetypal 2-year-old Piero. You know, he was a champion 2-year-old himself. And, you know, he really throws to what Piero was best at as a racehorse.
He's Piero's best 2-year-old till date, and he's also Piero's only group-winning 2-year-old colt. So absolutely, and I think because he's out of an Exceed and Excel mare, he gets that nice precocity and that lovely look to him too. So it's just a really good mix of genetics.
You obviously liked him enough, and you knew him all the way through, having bred him, to hang on to a leg of the horse, and now he's back with you.
Gaino was a good horse, better than anyone else. So when she bought the horse, we decided to stay in for a leg because she was adamant he would win a 2-year-old group race, and he did.
Well, he won the Black Opal Preview over the 1,000 metres. I mean, it was just such a dominant win that you can just see that raw precocity in any colt that can win by that margin anywhere.
He won by 5 lengths, and going away from them, he was really dominant in that win, and that was the start of his journey where we knew there was something special that we had.
Well, he was special. He won the Baillieu, or the Schweppervescence as it was known that year, the Group 3 for the 2-year-olds over the 1,400 metres. It was on a heavy 10 too. You know, he's a tough horse too to get through that.
And then he also had a terrific run in the Todman Stakes where he was beaten only half a length, and it was a record-breaking Todman Stakes behind Yes, 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 who eventually went out and won an Everest. And his 2-year-old time form rating of 116 is actually better than that of other horses like Bivouac, Yes, Yes, Yes himself, Trapeze Artist, The Autumn Sun, and Cosmic Force. So he was a proper 2-year-old. But what we've done different with him is we've structured some breeding rights in this horse that are really suited for breeders that want to capitalize on the investment in the first year itself, so they don't have to wait for the second or third year for the horse to make the money back. The way we've structured it, they can get out of the horse on the first year itself. And if anyone's interested, please call our team or myself, and we'd be more than happy to discuss it with you.
And I tell you what, Divine Profit, I've been seeing now for some time that 2-year-olds, the first runners, they've now just turned 2. But, you know, the pre-trainers, everyone seems to have a Divine Profit that they love.
And Casey Fogden, who does so much work for us in Queensland and is our main trainer up there, she absolutely loves Divine Profits. And it's just not her. It's also trainers that have Divine Profits like Team Hawks, who raced him, Anthony Friedman, Anthony Cummings, Chris Lees, Team McAvoy. They all have one in the stable and they all rave about them. So if the chat is true, they will run.
And Invader too, another young stallion. He's always been so stunning, that bright chestnut, and he's looking even better now.
I always tell people, he was born to just be a 2-year-old, and that's what he was. And his foals are exactly what this market loves. They're all short coupled, they're muscular, they're correct, and they're just in his mold. And if they don't run as 2-year-olds, nothing else can run as 2-year-olds. They're beautiful foals.
Spieth, you know, his weanlings, they're just absolutely gorgeous too.
They are athletic horses. They have good scope, plenty of leg underneath them, and that's what you want when you breed to a horse like him, and he stamps them. And breeders are absolutely in awe of his foal, especially his shareholders. And he has a big bunch of shareholders, and they've all supported the horse in the last couple of years, and they love what they see on the ground, and that's what they tell us.
And of course, last but not least, the very first foals of Brave, Smash and Santos coming.
Well, we are really excited to see them come in. They covered some really good mares last year. Not just client mares, but the Aquis mares that we support these young horses with. So it'd be really interesting to see what they throw, and if they throw to themselves, 90% of the battle's won.
Well, obviously it is hard for people to get to Lincoln Farm necessarily to see your stallions, so it's great being able to showcase them on Bred To Win. But you also did a wonderful job with the virtual stallion parade for New South Wales. It came together really well.
It really did, and what we thought was, it's a pity if people can't come to the farm, and naturally that's the times we live in, so we can't change that. But we thought if they can't get to us, we'll take the horses to them, and we will also do a similar parade for Victoria and Queensland, so stay tuned.
He's a wonderful Kelpie rider.
And in coming weeks, we'll profile Aquis Farm's other new stallions in Victoria and Queensland. Coming up on Bred To Win, Kingstar Farm's latest great breed to race option, Unite and Conquer, and Darley Woodland's John Sunderland and his favourite Inglis sales story.